Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're being played and you don't even know it? What if I told you there's a good chance that someone in your life is mentally abusing you? And the worst part, you might not even realize it. Narcissists are everywhere, folks, and the damage they leave behind is devastating. If you've ever been manipulated, controlled, or just felt like you've lost yourself, you could be a victim of this toxic behavior. Today, I'm breaking down 10 subtle but dangerous signs that someone has experienced narcissistic abuse. And trust me, some of these traits might hit closer to home than you think. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to protect yourself from the emotional wreckage narcissists leave in their wake. And the fourth sign? That's the one most people miss, and it could change your relationships forever. So let's get right to it, shall we? Trait number 1. They're always on edge. Have you ever been around someone who just can't sit still? It's like they're jumpy or fidgety all the time, right? Well, victims of narcissistic abuse often live in a state of constant anxiety, always waiting for the next shoe to drop. They can't relax because they're too busy overthinking every little thing. They might bite their nails, tap their fingers, or even rock their feet, all to cope with the overwhelming thoughts running through their head. It's a way to make the chaos just a little more bearable. Trait number 2. They hold grudges like it's their job. Let me tell you something, folks. Being mentally abused makes people angry. They don't forget the pain, and sometimes that anger turns into spite. Victims of narcissists hold on to their hurt, hoping that one day they'll get their revenge. And while revenge sounds sweet in theory, in reality, it just keeps the pain alive. And when they can't get back at their abuser, they might end up taking it out on the people around them, even if they don't mean to. Trait number 3, they're overly compliant. Now, here's a big one. When someone's been mentally abused, especially by a narcissist, they learn to comply. And I'm not talking about normal compliance here. I'm talking about going way overboard. They say yes to everything, even when they want to say no. They've learned that saying no could mean more abuse, so they just keep saying yes to keep the peace, even if it costs them their own happiness. Trait number 4, anxiety and depression take over. If you've ever dealt with someone who's constantly anxious or seems depressed, they might be carrying the weight of abuse. Narcissists have a way of tearing people down mentally and emotionally. And unlike physical wounds, the damage from mental abuse doesn't just heal over time. The victim is left wondering when the next attack will come, and that anticipation can drain the life out of anyone. If you're feeling this way, it's important to reach out for help. Don't wait until it's too late. Trait number 5, they lose self-control. When your mind is under attack, you can lose control over yourself. You start reacting without thinking, saying things you don't mean, doing things you'll regret. Narcissistic abuse messes with a person's ability to regulate their emotions. It's like the wiring in their brain has been scrambled. This lack of control can spill over into every part of their life, making it harder and harder to keep things together. Trait number 6, they can't see the good in anything. Ever met someone who just assumes the worst is going to happen? That's the pessimism talking. When you've been beaten down emotionally, it's easy to believe that nothing good is coming your way. They doubt everything, even themselves. And this isn't just a bad mood. This is the direct result of being mentally abused, of being told over and over that they aren't good enough, that they don't deserve happiness. Eventually, they start to believe it. Trait number 7, they stop caring. Victims of narcissistic abuse often lose interest in the things they used to love. They go slack. They become inactive. Even when they know they're capable of doing something, they just don't have the motivation to get it done. Why? Because after being told for so long that their efforts don't matter, they stop trying. It's a tragic outcome of feeling unappreciated and unloved. Trait number 8, their confidence is shattered. It's heartbreaking to watch someone who's been mentally abused. They lose their self-confidence. They've been told they're weak, that they're inferior, that they don't matter, and after hearing it long enough, they start to believe it. Their self-esteem is gone, leaving them feeling vulnerable and ashamed, even when they have nothing to be ashamed of. Trait number 9. They make reckless choices. When you're mentally abused, it can mess with your ability to make good decisions. Victims of narcissists often become reckless because they're used to living in survival mode. It's hard to think clearly when your mind is constantly on edge, waiting for the next attack. They might make impulsive decisions that end up hurting them in the long run because they've lost that internal compass that helps guide them. Trait number 10. They act irrationally. Finally, there's irrationality. Narcissists mess with their victims' heads, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity. When you've been told long enough that you're worthless, that you're not enough, your logical thinking gets skewed. Victims start reacting emotionally rather than thinking things through, and it leads to behaviors that just don't make sense. Listen, folks, if you or someone you care about is showing these signs, know that you're not alone. There's hope, there's help, and there's healing. The first step is recognizing the issue, and the next is reaching out for professional support. You deserve to live a life free from the pain of abuse. You deserve to thrive. And hey, if this helped you understand a little more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this a thumbs up. We're here to keep having these important conversations, so stick around. Thanks for watching, and remember, take care of yourself.